Live from New York.
Look at Brou.
Brou, what are you doing?
Delivered.
It's Monday.
Getting his coffee delivered.
It's
right?
tea. It's tea.
Okay, still.
I need it for my voice.
Butler
Your
service.
voice? What's wrong with your voice?
I can get worse if I don't have my tea.
Oh, okay. All right. Live from New York. It's a show with a hoarse voice. It's first things first today. No, I like the two-man interviews. Ant's last 3 playoff games were 43, 40, and 36. Are you surprised? Because I don't think you had them in Game 1. You had them in the series. So you probably are surprised Minnesota stole Game 1. You didn't have them in Game 1.
Hey, don't try to steal Bruce moment.
Right.
This is unbelievable.
How dare you even ask me this question?
Exactly, Brou. Tell him.
I mean, I sat up. I'm one of the few national pundits that had the guts
That's right.
to say that Minnesota would win this series. And a week and a half ago, I was saying, I'm leaning toward the Timberwolves.
It's true.
Okay. And then I came, and now you got a lot of people coming out, oh, Minnesota's going to win this series.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear it after game 1.
Agreed, Brou.
Minnesota is who I picked. I don't think we picked game 1.
That is correct.
You know what surprised me, though? The fact that when you asked the question, it wasn't Brou's Timberwolves. Because hold on, I picked the Clippers in one series 6 years ago, and now they're Brou's Clippers for life.
They are.
I don't get now. These should be my Timberwolves for the duration of Anthony Edwards' career. How about that? How about that? I mean, that's only fair.
Okay.
But here's why. Look, Nick, if you notice, I'm not surprised because they have all they need to beat Denver. And I'm not right. Look, the Nuggets are champs. They're going to fight. Mm-hmm. But they've got the size to make it tough on Jokic, and we saw it all night. That surprised me, Nick. Like, Jokic obviously played well, 32, 9, and 8. But, man, he had to work
and another half dozen plus turnover game.
Yeah, 7 turnovers. Every moment he was on the court, I felt like he controlled the game against the Lakers, especially in the second half when it was like winning time. I didn't think he controlled this game at all.
No.
True.
Because their size made it tough on him. They got the superstar that can take it over whenever he wants, rise to the occasion. They've got shooting. They were the 3rd best 3-point shooting team in the league. They've got good coaching. 2 of their coaches, the 2 head coaches, if you want to count Mike Nori now, were on the Nuggets staff when Jokic was a younger player, so they know him a little bit. So their defense too, and that was the thing that put me over the top with them. Their defense is tenacious, and they can take away Gordon at the dunker spot, which was so effective.
Yeah, and Rudy. So there were a lot of things in this game, and shout out first and foremost, I'm going to give a couple non-player shout outs. Tim Conley, because Tim Conley built the Nuggets and then didn't get to celebrate the championship with them because before last season, Minnesota hired him away. His first big move was the Rudy Gobert trade, panned almost universally by myself as well, by myself included, as I thought it was a massive overpay. I'm sorry?
You were the ringleader of the
I don't know if I was the ringleader of it, but I was certainly, among the chorus.
It was a lot of picks.
It was 4 first-round picks.
And Gobert's history.
Right, his history in the playoffs, how last year went for them, all of it looked like it was a disaster. But he was clearly trying to build a team to beat the team he had just built, who he thought could be the team to beat, and then they won the title. Shout out to him. Also, I am not going to watch a series where the Lakers play the Nuggets and talk about mistakes or miscues that I thought Darvin Ham made and not give credit to Chris Finch for instantly having ready for it. You know what? And this was pointed out on Wendy's pod today, so credit to those by Bond Tim, so I want to give credit. That the most devastating play in basketball this year, one of the very most, has been whenever Jokic brings the ball up the court. They score like, a point and a half almost per possession. It was unbelievable. They pressured it. They the simple adjustment of make him work more, it slows him down. And so they did a lot of things I think are coaching things. Make Jokic defend in the pick and roll, not because he can't defend, but because it wears him down. Make him work if he's going to bring the ball up. That's coaching, and I thought Chris Finch and his staff did a great job. And then, of course, there's Ant, and what Ant is trying to do here. And I understand there are a lot of these Michael Jordan comps, and that, in my opinion, and I know Ant said today to stop them, I think it's actually unfair to both of them. I think it's unfair to Ant. It's unfair to Jordan because Jordan is Jordan and Ant is just getting started. But it's also unfair to Ant because, in fairness, Jordan was not doing this in the postseason at 22. Jordan didn't win his second playoff game till he was 25. There are not guys that do. LeBron did it, and Durant did it.
So are
in
you
the last
saying
20 years.
It's an insult to
what I'm saying is,
because Edwards came, and I'm not trying to just defend Jordan, but I'm saying context. He didn't have an all-star like Karl Anthony Towns, and even Rudy Gobert, four-time defensive, soon to be four-time.
I'm also not. You're not trying to defend Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take shots. I'm just trying to contextualize
He's young.
that doing even amongst the greatest players ever. Only a very, very short list of the greatest players ever have been the best player on a team that goes on a deep playoff run at this age. Durant did it. LeBron did it. Derrick Rose did it. They're the only guys in the last really 30 years to do it. Kobe was the second best guy. And so what he's doing is spectacular. And yeah, I mean, was I surprised they stole game one? I was, because Denver Wildes, with this starting five in games that nobody leaves with injury, had lost 2 times to a Western Conference team at home ever. Two
times ever.
Ever to a Western Conference team at home.
Oh, with this starting
five. Because Jamal was out when they beat him last night.
Right, with this starting five, when they're whole, the one was overtime to Phoenix, and one was the Shingun game. That's it. And that's playoffs or regular season. That's not just this year. So that is, it's surprising anytime they lose. So, yeah.
I was surprised. Look, I think it was a needed wake-up call. And I had Hubs pull this graphic, and I told a little story about when my son is 10, and he's quite fast, and we have races. And he's never going to beat me, at least for a good decade, or at least a few years. But, boy, does he scamper out there really quick. And Denver consistently finds themselves in these holes and has to fight and claw back. And with the Lakers, it comes down to the final buzzer, and Jamal can put it in. But the fact that you fell down deep in the first quarter and had to come back, it shows that they're just a little bit loose, or maybe the adjustments aren't as quick as they were last year. 2023, they played 20 games. They were down 12 or more 5 times. In these playoffs, they played 6 games. They've been not down 12 or more. 1 time they were down 14 in the first quarter. Were there some weird things happening? Yes. Naz Reid played out of his mind. The whole team shot 71% in the second half. But Joker needs to just play more efficiently. And some things, I'm not going to say luck. I want to say good pressure defense. But when we looked at those turnovers, when you go through them, 2 of them are like weird traveling calls. One was a 3-second violation. Strange stuff that I don't think is going to happen over and over again. But it's a needed wake-up call, and they deserve it.
And it's also this.
Nice try.
It's a needed wake-up call.
It's
a wake-up call.
Well, we'll get to the Denver side in just a moment. But it should be noted, when these 2 teams played last year in the playoffs, which was a close gentleman's sweep, I suppose. Yeah. Not necessarily every game was close, but it felt like no Naz Reid, no Jaden McDaniels. So those are 2 of the most important guys so Denver loses Bruce Brown. These guys get back. They already had him on the team, but obviously Jaden broke his hand punching a wall, and Naz was hurt. And Anthony Edwards being whatever the hell he is now, which
and
is
they felt like they figured out the defense even more.
There's a lot going on, which brings us to what
Jamal
we should have started
calf.
the show with.
Well, that was supposed to.
These excuses.
Not excuses. Am I allowed to analyze the game, or am I supposed to just?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Pat Beverly for 20 minutes. Am I worried about Jamal Murray's calf? Yes. Is he? Not necessarily. Take a listen. I said. It's not an excuse. His calf is, to his credit, I don't think his calf is as healthy as everyone else's in the league. I didn't do a full analysis of everybody's calf, but I think there's some. His is hurt.
In fairness, this was part of why I liked Minnesota, in that I don't think Murray's 100%. And I'm going to credit him, and I said this last week, for not making this an excuse. I mean, you could hear a few things. It sucks, it's part of it. And people might say, oh, he threw that. They kept grilling him. They must have asked him 5 times about the calf. All right, and initially he was like, look, I'm fine. I'm out there playing. I played 34 minutes. I'm good. So he's not making an excuse, but clearly he's not what he was last year. And that's been the only deterrent in his career, really, is injury problems. And so when you talk about Anthony Edwards, I had Anthony Edwards in my second team all defense on my official thing. He's a great defender. Yeah. Some people calling him the best two-way guard in the league now. When he's guarding you, it's going to be tough not to be 100%. Well, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's as fast as you.
Just a challenge. By the way, he's definitely the best two-way guard in the league. I'm just trying to think in my head who's even in the competition. He's definitely the best two-way guard in the league. But Brou,
SGA is a very good.
Yeah, I think Anthony Edwards is better defensively than SGA, and I think that offensively you can call it a push. But regardless, ask Wildes the question. It's on the bottom line. Yeah, or
of course.
What?
It's 100% a must-win.
So if they lose tonight,
you're out.
You're if they coming on my side.
It is.
No, I will be very, very, very nervous.
Well, hold on.
But I will go down with the ship if needed.
Is anyone beating Denver in a 7-game series?
No.
If they lose tonight, will you feel that way?
No.
What?
Okay. See, here's the thing, and this is where Wildes, Brou, is going to run, I think, the full gamut of emotions.
We're not losing tonight.
I'm going to, whether you lose tonight or not, because I'm going to make a prediction.
Oh.
Wildes, at some point, probably not even during a Nuggets segment this week, is going to yell at me on the air.
Well,
and it's because, Brou,
you would too,
it's because he is now, after having a Classic 1 victory lap that didn't quite feel quite as good as you thought it would, did it, buddy? That's why you were so mad. Is now dealing with the aftershocks of going out on a limb and then realizing, it's a little shakier than I thought.
I feel confident.
I could be wrong. Okay. Something that I have grilled into the audience 23 times. Our buddy KW has tweeted. No one is beating Denver in a 7-game series. Brou, Brou, when you missed him, you also missed he made funny at-home social media sizzle reels. We can play it for you if we could, Huz.
This is good. I didn't license
How
this.
do I remain so confident? I'm always reminding myself, bang, no one's beating Denver in a 7-game series. I'm going to say it 100 times. I'm always reminding myself.
My drawer, my laundry, it's a microwave.
Yeah, so
I ended it with a Mac Jones.
He ended it with a Mac Jones joke that I took out to be kind.
Wildes, let me throw this at you, Wildes.
Ooh.
It is difficult to repeat in the NBA.
That is
it
the
though?
The last repeat champion was 2018 on an almost unfairly stacked Golden State team with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and those guys. Before that, you got to go back to what? The Miami Heat.
A stacked
team with a glutton's amount of Hall of Famers. And then before that,
Kobe. That, to be fair, that's the only one without a stacked team.
And right.
But that was
Kobe before this huge kind of Big Three era. But it's just tough, man.
I'm not moving off of the prediction.
Until after tonight. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose tonight.
If you would move off it after tonight, then I think
I'm not moving off of it.
But you called it a must-win.
It's a must-win because historically, it's a must-win.
The Clippers came back from losing the first.
They were the last ones to do it. It's happened 29 times.
No, it's only come back 5.
Five teams have won the series. 24 have lost. So just statistically,
Yao and McGrady. So some good players.
That's what I'm saying. But tonight is a must-win. So, but would I still be believing in Denver? Yeah, definitely. But I still believe.
So here's to your point, Brou, about it being hard to repeat. I want to expand on that because it's not only that it's hard to repeat; it's that in the moment after a championship, it almost always, Kawhi with the Raptors doesn't really count because he left. It almost always feels like, well, why is this team ever not going to win the next championship? The Lakers win the title. The next year, they have the best record in basketball. They are the Vegas favorites to win the title until LeBron gets hurt. The next year, Milwaukee wins the title. They're rolling. Everything's great. Right. Middleton gets dinged. Tatum has the game of his life. And by the way, neither the Lakers nor the Bucks have, been that close since then. The Lakers made a conference finals. The next year, Golden State wins the title. They open the following season as the co-favorites to win. It doesn't ever get off the ground because Draymond. No, I'm talking about 2 years ago.
With Durant.
I'm talking about 2 years ago. I'm just going. Lakers won.
That was a bad
It looked
pick.
like they were going to.
But notice
Milwaukee
everything,
won.
the common denominator in everything you said, an injury.
And
Jamal, even though he's playing,
right, and so
Credit to him,
but the other
banged up.
piece of it is this: those 4 teams seem miles away from championship contention right now, miles away. And so I know there's been a lot of, man, I heard it happened, the other day that Jokic is already the greatest international player ever. That he is, and I don't think he's greater than Hakeem. It was really a Jokic-Dirk discussion. Set that aside.
Him and Hakeem.
There's talking, right? There's talks about a Denver dynasty. I'm saying if they were to lose this round, it's going to feel a lot like Milwaukee, where it's like, okay, they'll be fine, they'll be right back the next year, and then we look back and it's like, wait, Milwaukee just won the
record.
one.
Last year, they left Denver tied at 1, going to Miami, and then they won.
But that was
they're going to do.
That Miami team wasn't as good as this one.
Well, they were in the finals. So what do you want me to do? They got to play.
Hold on. You felt like the Miami team was as formidable as this one?
I don't know. I don't compare eras.
They're not as talented.
I'm just telling you.
Last year.
11 months ago. You brought it up.
Yeah.
You literally brought up Miami, not us.
Yeah.
You thought they were as formidable as this.
Well, I don't know. They were in the finals.
Well,
And I have to sit here and tell you how great Heat culture is. They're in the finals all the time. They're in the finals in the bubble. In the finals last year. They're always in the conference finals.
Even if you're
They
down
left
2-1, you got to make something up to make it look like you're still.
They're going to
even though
leave and go to Minnesota at 1-1. They'll be like, guess where we were? We did this last year.
They should,
and then they'll
but
steal one in Minnesota and come back.
And it's going to be
What
gonna
they
be a long-
didn't deal with last year
series.
was ever trailing in a series. Never once. And now
I think they're fine. Okay, championship pedigree. It's a nice wake-up call. Watch. They're going to storm out. Joker's going to hit a bunch of threes. We'll be fine. What's next for your Clippers?
Well, with Harden, I think he's right. I don't know who's going to want him other than the Clippers. I mean, because as good a player as he is in the regular season, I mean, these last 2 games, these are the ones that matter. And he did what he's done time and time again in the playoffs. Now, look, I can't overstate how bad of a decision it was for the Clippers. Shout out to Kawhi and Uncle Dennis for being smart and getting it done, but giving Kawhi that 3-year, $150 million contract. Because if they didn't give him that, Nick, you know this, they're actually in position to rebuild. Because Harden's a free agent. Paul George is a free agent. Kawhi would be a free agent. You could go in a whole different direction if you wanted. Now that you signed Kawhi and you don't have any draft picks, for the most part, it's like, honestly, I don't think they're going to win anything significant.
That's the problem.
But I think if you can get Paul George and James Harden, which I think you can get, I'm not maxing him out, and that's the problem with George.
So you want to run
I'm
it back?
running it back. I mean,
bro.
what else? What are you doing? Hold on. Let me finish.
I'm agreeing
Better
with you.
to be
What are you guys talking
relevant. Better to be relevant. Make the playoffs because of the names. There's a little hope, Then just fall off the
What's
map.
the
Let
alternative,
everybody.
Wildes?
I don't know.
There's no.
But
That's the
running
thing.
it back doesn't seem to be the answer.
They're not going to win anything, but they're relevant.
The key is
I
they
agree.
don't get their own draft pick for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
So if you're bad, you're not
the
even
key
winning.
is right. The key is you can't. In general, I would agree. The responsible decision is admit this is not anything close to a championship roster. Rip it down and start over. The problem is there's no building blocks with which to start over. If they do rip it down, they don't get anything from that. The Thunder are going to get the Thunder have one of their picks, the Sixers have one of their picks, and then the Thunder have swaps with them. So it might be 5 years, not 6 years. But they just don't control it. And so they're just trying to stave off the total wilderness, and all they can hope for is,
years like this.
Yes, and
honestly,
playoffs.
maybe 1 year these guys will all be healthy.
But they're not contenders.
Ty Lue will be interesting. At first, I thought he should not sign an extension with them. All right, because in a year he will be, Milwaukee. if things don't go well for them next year. I mean, seriously.
How many
if
coaches
things don't
Milwaukee
go
gonna pay?
Well, they're already paying what, 3?
Yeah,
if
Boston.
things don't go well this year, right? Boston. If things don't go well for them,
Yeah.
so he could be, wanted, and so. But Ballmer's going to throw a ton of money at him. It'll be hard to turn down, so he may just accept it. But this is not a good situation. I know Ty is frustrated, and who wouldn't be? Because your guys are always hurt.
Yeah.
And so I don't really think he should sign it. But because the money Ballmer will offer him, he'll probably offer him a year from now too.
Maybe. Listen, I think Ty will get his extension. I think that Ty Lue and Jason Kidd have done a good job of.
Oh, they want to give it? I'm just saying, do you think it's smart of him to take
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a
Money's
big contract
money.
extension guy. Like on big time jobs that, right, but you're also then hoping that a team that's actually really good, that comes open, you know what I mean? So
Right,
I don't know. I just know that the fact that the Clippers are now have to hope against hope that Paul George will accept what will be a bad contract from the team's perspective is not a good place to be in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.